110 on the board for Kerala. They still require 289 if they want to win this match outright. Paras Dogra, captain of Jammu and Kashmir, hasn't been happy with that condition of the cherry. He's gone to the umpire, I think, almost every over and asked them to put it through those rings and say, all right, can we change the ball? So far, the ball is meeting the
ODI. Transfer that.
Back of a length he stays. Aaron Hardy, but the line's good. Mentioned the best time to bat
would be with the new ball when the ball comes on to the bat a bit more. But it's a length. We're keeping the batter guessing, not giving him width, and telling him so early in his innings, if you want runs, you're going to have to take chances. An opportunity to get a wicket early. Sri Lanka have already lost one. The nerves will be tingling. That's the position you want to push the opposition into so you can capitalize on the power play.
Well, it's a strong Sri Lankan team in these conditions. We see Aaron Hardy here, just angling that one back into the right-hander. Vishka. 4 members of this team in the 2024 ICC ODI Team of the Year. One of them's already out, Nasanka.
Another's gone. Nicely taken, Australia. They picked up another, and it's Avishka for ball. Very, very early.
And that slips practice there for Steve Smith. Like shelling pace. Hardy just put it in the channel. Not about it. Slips catching practice. Ball match. Simple catch. Smith. And Sri Lanka reeling at 6 for 2.
Avishka Fernando, just the 1 run to him, 6 for 2. K. Mendes at either end of. In reality, that was one delivery you should have been cutting for 4. There was width. But that's the doubt that the Sri Lankans have got in their mind because of a couple of good overs.
Smith doesn't drop those. Wonderful slips fielder. Saw that during the tests. Up to 200 test catches. Record time too. And Spencer Johnson, wonderful start here. Attacking good straight lines, getting some good bounce. Alternating his length from over the wicket to the right-handers, trying to find that outside edge.
First wayward delivery, but his first over was precise to Pathum Nissanka. He might not get the swing, he might not get the bounce that he's used to. Back of a length, there's no swing. Tries to hit the bat hard, he stays there. That's the one, with the angle he goes through. Pula, Nissanka
just holds his position and throws his hands at it. And perishes. Really good bowling.
Well, the interesting part about that graphic is when you see the comes back in the sun, and that so down his and leads Plays the second one off the back foot. One he crunches.
And then Hardy backs them up from the other end, back of a length, back of a length. That's four, that's four. But I'll probably give you 10 minutes with the Australian team. Oh! 11-2 after 3.
So just that trajectory is giving them that advantage of the ball just holding fractionally in the surface.
I would think the only change Hardy's made is in line, but lengthwise, I'm pretty sure he's been spot on. Ball be there and thereabouts.
Well, he didn't bowl a lot in the recent Big Bash League. I think he had a little bit of an elbow niggle or maybe a shoulder niggle, so one of the two. And so hasn't come in with the same workload. At the end of the over, Sri Lanka are 13 for 2.
जैसे आप खाने में भरपूर प्यार डालते हैं, वैसे ही बड़े प्यार से चुनिंदा इंग्रेडिएंट से फॉर्च्यून 25 सालों से बनाता आ रहा है। तेल से लेकर आटा, दाल से लेकर चावल, बेसन से लेकर सोया बड़ी और भी बहुत कुछ।
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
Life tastes better with Viva.
Lanka in a bit of bother at the moment. They've lost Nissanka, they've lost Avishka Fernando. Trying to rebuild. K. Mendes and K. Mendes trying to do that right now. He's chipped that. I think that's a clever shot. Because mid-on, almost in line with the stumps, it was safe. Good shot from Kusal Mendes.
Yeah, it's a very good shot. Not easy to pick up Spencer Johnson and deposit him straight back over mid-on. It's got enough on it. There was almost a fraction of a leading edge off the toe end of the bat, but he committed enough to the shot. And given the power of the bats these days, that cleared mid-on comfortably.
Two other seaming options available to Australia. Bowlers who are very adept at bowling slower deliveries. In the gap, that's 4. Good bowling. But you've got to live with this.
Yeah, it's an aggressive field from Steve Smith. 2 slips and what looks like quite a fine gully. Cooper Connolly, it's probably almost at 4th slip. And this was beautifully bowled. Good comeback from Spencer Johnson. Gets the nick. But as a result of that field, the angle with third man means it runs away for 4. Because he's a lot squarer. Steve Smith won't mind that though. Good aggressive play early on here from the Australians.
This could be tight. Mendes makes it. Good running, good running. Trying to seize the initiative. Lucky for him, he took off with the shot.
Yeah, good intent from Kusal Mendes. Because Aaron Hardy's a tall man. As I mentioned, he's about 6'4". So to bend down and then throw off balance against the direction he was running in. So it's never easy, particularly on that angle too. He's almost square onto the stumps. A well-judged single there. Kusal.
First time coming, the Mendes will be on strike to Spencer Johnson. I mentioned the other 2 seaming options. Nathan Ellis and Sean Abbott. Sean Abbott has played a lot of cricket in this part of the world, been a part of the Australian setup for a long time.
That last delivery, another great example of the bounce that is being generated from these 2 tall opening bowlers. Spencer Johnson, one of his strengths is hitting that hard length around the 140k mark. And he's quicker than that, particularly in Australian conditions. He's got it up around the 150 mark when he's fully firing. In these hot, humid conditions here today and slower wicket, we're not going to hit those speeds, but got some talent, this young man.
With that's 4. Kamindu Mendes does not miss out. That's why he's been amongst the runs for Sri Lanka. 3rd boundary this over.
Yeah, another example of the width on offer, just a fraction of width. And Kamindu Mendes just climbed all over that, using the pace to his advantage, just wide of that backward point, who thought he was in with a chance, given it went aerial, fraction of time, but races away to backward point for 4.
Reminds me of one of your teammates. Your era, Simon.
His run up. We'll come back to that. 26 for 2.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ।
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है। देखो हेल्प भी आ गई।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
Run rate 5.2, acceptable. It's the 2 wickets that will worry Sri Lanka. They'll need to build. Asalanka will be next. Then it's Janit Liyanage, Velalage and Hasaranga. You don't want them coming in too early. We expect the pitch to slow down and get a little harder for batting. At the moment it's Hardy, another edge, another boundary.
Kusal Mendes living dangerously here. That was ever so close to Steve Smith, who's been known to take these flying one-handed catches to his right. Just sits in the surface, squares him up. Once again, footwork of the Sri Lankan top order here getting challenged. Back foot not getting anywhere near the line of the ball, crossed off stump, and as a result, a really dangerous position, squared up with the open blade.
They go slightly wider in the slips. Edge taken. Only a matter of time. The Sri Lankans having a poke all the while. They got away with a couple, not this time.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time. Given what we've seen here this morning, there's been some good swing, and once again, the lack of footwork is so evident there. Aaron Hardy claims a second scalp. That was a simple catch to Matt Short at first slip. Kusal Mendes departs for 19. Sri Lanka now 30 for 3.
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Hold me, mesmerize me, and take me by surprise.
The unspoken language of love.
Echo check कर लेना.
We thought they were in a bit of trouble. Well, they are surely in trouble, because in the 6th over of an innings,
You really don't want to see Charita Salanka in the middle if you're a Sri Lankan fan. Wonderful record, 1450s, 300s. Got a good strike rate. He's been a wonderful finisher for Sri Lanka of late. Captain of the ICC ODI team, but he's got his work cut out. Geez, Aussies are not going to get easier slip catches, and I'm really fascinated by the carry. Normally you're taking catches around your ankle and creeping in the slips. Aaron Hardy hitting the deck, getting a bit of movement off the seam, and Sri Lanka in all sorts. 3 slips away for Sri Lanka.
It's not often you see this in ODI cricket, but 3 slips from Steve Smith. Aggressive field, and they've got every right to. Been backed up by his 2 opening bowlers. Catching's been good. And Sri Lankan batters have been all at sea with their footwork against the ball that's just held in the surface a bit and bounced, and a little bit of movement through the air.
This is so good. So good if you were of seamers having an effect in different conditions, not helpful conditions. But I think this is a masterclass from the 2. Other than that pie, which you miss, Simon, when Johnson's been very good.
Yeah, while I was still wiping the sleep out of my eye, Russell.
And look at the field that's set. This is attacking fields used by Steve Smith. Oh, just short, but the field was there. You're giving yourself an opportunity to make those inroads. That's what Smith is doing. So you can make it count. Sean Abbott.
Yeah, it's brilliant captaincy, and it's backed up by excellent bowling. Obviously new balls at each end, but still got to keep asking good questions each ball, and it's been the length. That's, once again, great length from Aaron Hardy. On a good line, asking a good challenging question. And at the end of the 6th over, Sri Lanka are 30 for 3.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है. ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ.
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया. देखो हेल्प पे आ गई.
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना.
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
Centrum.
30 for 3. So was bowled. Back to 3 slips. 4 coming to Mendes, so Steve Smith, he reckons maybe 1 over each from the faster bowlers. Very warm conditions. And maybe try and get another wicket. I like the thinking. He was proactive in the test series, he's being proactive here now. Make the inroads early. You sense something, just go for it. Make life easier for you.
Yeah, it's wonderful, instinctive captaincy here, just assessing things as he sees it right in front of him, not being too pre-planned. They would have had some plans, no doubt, in the bowlers' meetings, but then you see how it all unfolds in the moment and just going with the flow here. And probably asking the question to himself, who would these two least like to face at this point in time? And the question is pretty clear at the moment, the 2 opening bowlers.
One more would mean you're into the late middle order. And if at all, if you get Johnson and Hardy to push 1 more over, it's the best time really. Ball is harder. Later on, it might be all about slower balls and all those types of variations. There you go, Simon. Tell me who he reminds you of. Gone! Not the way they wanted it, but they got their man. Fraser McGurk takes it smartly.
Yeah, wonderful catch at square leg. That was clipped uppishly. Got a good piece
here now. Make the inroads early. You sense something, just go for it. Make life easier for you.
Yeah, it's wonderful, instinctive captaincy here, just assessing things as he sees it right in front of him, not being too pre-planned. They would have had some plans, no doubt, in the bowlers' meetings, but then you see how it all unfolds in the moment and just going with the flow here. And probably asking the question to himself, who would these two least like to face at this point in time? And the question is pretty clear at the moment, the 2 opening bowlers.
One more would mean you're into the late middle order. And if at all, if you get Johnson and Hardy to push 1 more over, it's the best time really. Ball is harder. Later on, it might be all about slower balls and all those types of variations. There you go, Simon. Tell me who he reminds you of. Gone! Not the way they wanted it, but they got their man. Fraser McGurk takes it smartly.
Yeah, wonderful catch at square leg. That was clipped uppishly. Got a good piece of it. The youngster makes a good catch at forward square leg. He's a very good fielder, and that went in cleanly. Spencer Johnson's happy. So are the Aussies. Mindu Mendes, he departs for 5, and Sri Lanka now in all sorts of trouble at 31 for 4.
क्या करूंगी इतने से बेसन से? ब्रेड पकोड़ा, बेसन भजी, बेसन बड़ा।
जरूर घर में फिलिप्स एयर फ्रायर होगा। सिर्फ इसी में है टूलिया बास्केट और स्टारफिश डिजाइन विद ए परफेक्ट कुकिंग और ढेरों डिशेस। सो व्हाट्स न्यू ऑन द मेन्यू? इनोवेशन एंड यू, फिलिप्स।
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
Janit Lian again. Sri Lanka, well, it gets worse for them. The captain's out there, but Kamindu Mendes is gone. Been a good start to Janit Lian again. Well, he'll have to play a blinder here for Sri Lanka if they are to compete. Oh, yes. That's a beautiful picture, the skyline of Colombo City. Our Australian fans, look at the field that's set. Steve Smith. He's got them all catching. Even in goal, he didn't have so many slips. But 4, not quite. The wider third man able to get round to it. Lienage is off the mark.
And this is the wicket of Kamindu Mendes. Clips it in the air. And Jake Fraser McGurk pounces on it at forward square leg. Taken nicely to his right. The Aussies have been sharp right from the word go here. Danger territory now for Sri Lanka. They need a substantial partnership. Not even 7 overs in.
Sri Lanka. First runs to him. Go on, Simon. Who does he remind you of? I'll give you a hint. A teammate of yours for sure.
Well, the thing that threw me a little bit, Russell, was the fact that Spencer Johnson, even though he's got a lush head of hair there, I think he was voted the best hair in the BBL. I think the second was Chris Lynn. But,
yeah,
but
I get you.
What I will say is there's a lot of similarity to the run-up to Nathan Bracken, my old teammates at New South Wales and Australia.
Only runner. Only the action, right? Similar hair, though. I think if he was around, he could have pushed Spencer Johnson for the award for the hair.
Well, much longer hair than Spencer Johnson, with Nathan Bracken, and he had the Alice band there for a period of time. So he liked that look, and it was a very, very good one-day and T20 bowler for Australia. Played a little bit of Test cricket with him as well in the Indian series in 2003, 2004.
Don't compare the pace. Spencer Johnson a lot quicker, but he was a handful, Bracken. They're asking, but the angle was leg side-ish. Yeah, it was very hard to negotiate. Nathan Bracken, but Spencer Johnson bowling beautifully, 35 for 4.
इतनी मेहनत के बाद खाना अच्छा होना तो बनता है। मेहनत का फल मीठा होता है।
See what's going on, 35 for 4. But first things first, a warm welcome and a good morning to our latest friend joining into the commentary box, Ravi Bopara. It's a warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Roshan, and good morning to our viewers wherever you are in the world, or good afternoon in some places.
Great to have you.
It's great to be here. I mean, Sri Lanka is one of my favorite parts of the world.
Swing and a miss. But it's been... Sri Lanka will be kicking themselves. This man at the toss thought 280 was the score they're aiming at. Parvez Maroof was a little bit different. He said 240, but the Australian fast bowlers have been very good, particularly Hardy. 2 for 8. He's got wickets. He's bowled with good control. And it's about the way he is bowled.
He certainly has bowled with very good control. He does come from very high.
A bit of a reflex shot. Only a single. He's mixed it up well. He's not express by any means, but I like the way he keeps mixing it up.
I mean, with his action, because he comes from a high point, if there is anything in the wicket, he will find it. And here you can see that swing. And it's the angle that he comes from. He sort of comes from wide, and then with those bowlers who do come from wide and can have the ability to swing it, it can get very, very difficult for the batsman. He can sometimes feel like the ball's coming in at his hip or middle stump, So you keep your feet there and suddenly the ball moves away, as we saw there with a couple of the right-handers.
Well, he's doing that well. As you say, he just goes a bit wide of the crease, looks to bowl that tight off-stump line and takes it away. This is very clever bowling.
And the conditions have been a little bit difficult. I mean, they're never easy at the Prima Dasa. Always a difficult place to score runs. But that's more usually in the middle overs. Usually after 10 overs when the spinners are operating, the fields are spread.
Well, I can tell you what, at the time of the toss, it was looking nice, blue skies. And I'm just wondering, because we're just having a little bit of a build-up. There's a cloud that's come over. It's become a bit cooler. Obviously, we know that these conditions are good for swing bowlers, that they'll get something in the air when the atmosphere is a bit heavy. This is a bit unusual. Didn't expect this. I don't think it will be too much of a concern, but it's just come over and parked itself right above the ground. .36 for 4.
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Me, mesmerize me, and take me by surprise.
The unspoken language of love.
Exclusively on Sony Live.
Oh. And Roshan, I was wondering about those clouds. I mean, I was looking over and I was thinking, if we had those clouds in England, it'd be game over. I mean, but you never know in this part of the world. It could rain for 10 minutes and we'll be back out there straight away. But what I have found in Colombo, that the wicket gets better when it rains.
Yes, it does, because it adds a little bit to the moisture, to the dryness. Maybe it will look to sort of bind itself with that extra bit of moisture. But this surface, it's dry. We heard Faviz Mahroof talk about it. See, if you look at it, it looks quite dry. But still, Ravi, you need runs on the board. You need to give your bowlers something to bowl at.
Absolutely, and usually at the top of the innings, batsmen are looking to capitalise on boundaries with only 2 fielders out, but Sri Lanka have never got going. It's been very difficult for them. The real challenge in Sri Lanka comes in the middle overs when the field is spread and the spinners are on, and you got to strike a good balance between rotation and boundaries. But the Aussies will be delighted with this start, picking up 4 wickets in the first 8 overs. Really putting Sri Lanka on the back foot here.
Well, this man, he was disappointed when he lost the toss. He wanted to bat first himself because looking at that surface, you could assume that it's dry and the spinners will come into play. Oh, well bowled. What a line to bowl. Brilliant line from Abbott. Just outside the off stump, that probing line where the batters got to play.
Absolutely, and you've got the wobble seam there. On a dry surface, it's the perfect way to bowl. You want to get that wobble seam on a dry surface. I wouldn't know exactly how to describe the scientific version of it, but it usually cuts up the wicket, and that's where you get the movement from a very, very dry surface. There are some cracks in this surface as well.
I thought it had a hint, just a hint. That was good enough. Well, Sri Lanka kept losing wickets quite early. Pathum Nissanka just drove at a delivery, good catch by Carey. It was referred. And then, well, firm-footed Avishka Fernando. Kusal Mendes looked a bit edgy eventually, hitting down the man's throat. But this was unfortunate. Good catch. That was off the middle of the bat. That was the only wicket that the batters would feel that he's hard done by because he got it off the middle of the bat.
He did, but there'll be batting coaches out there that'll be saying, you know, you either play along the ground or you hit it over the top, and that's the mistake you make when if you're going to hit it to knee height or chest height. There is that opportunity you're going to present to the fielder in the circle.
So they need to build here. And he just gets it off an inside edge. I thought they'll come for 2. That's good running, very good running. 39 for 4.
जैसे आप खाने में भरपूर प्यार डालते हैं, वैसे ही बड़े प्यार से चुनिंदा इंग्रेडिएंट से फॉर्च्यून 25 सालों से बनाता आ रहा है। तेल से लेकर आटा, दाल से लेकर चावल, बेसन से लेकर सोया बड़ी और भी बहुत कुछ।
The unspoken language to express.
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
39 for 4. This is a large stadium. Dar Premadasa refurbished with more stands added, and now the modern lighting being introduced gradually. So once it's done, the LED lights, it will make it so good. We do have it in Dambulla. Now it's coming over here.
You mentioned Dambulla there and the lighting. And I remember playing a one-day there against Sri Lanka, and lights were very low. The lights were very, very low, and it was so hard to see Malinga. I just remember Malinga bowling me a slower ball, and I almost ducked it because I didn't see anything. And it was, in fact, a slower ball Yorker, and it bowled me. But the lights were very low. I just remember, and that was a concern at that time.
Well, this man, Nathan Ellis, he comes with a good record. Not just as a bowler, but he seemed to have that leadership skill material. He captained Hobart for their first ever skill. Hobart Hurricanes in the BBL. That was quite pacey, isn't he? Hit the deck hard, hit the wicketkeeper's gloves quite hard.
Yeah, he's quite short and skiddy. He sort of bustles in and he'll certainly run in hard. He does have a very good back of the hand slow ball, which he more relies on towards the end of the innings. You'll find that he'll probably bowl the death overs here for Australia. And we've seen a lot of him in T20 cricket. He's travelled the world playing T20 cricket. Had a good time at the 100 with the London Spirit. And he's a very, very hard worker. Very, very hard.
Bowled, brilliantly bowled again. This has been a brilliant over so far. His lines and lengths have been excellent. You spoke about how good he is for a hard worker. That is effort. What an effort it is. Just 100% there.
Oh yeah, he gives 100%. Fantastic fielder as well. Our concern sometimes at the London Spirit was that he probably bowled 7 to 8 overs before the start of the game. And we felt that during the game, he got tired. And he didn't bowl with that same zip that he would, in the warm-ups. He'd really run in, and we just felt like he was bowling far too many balls. It's a strong action. Typical Aussie strong action, but a lot shorter than what you'd normally see. With Australians, they're normally really tall and strapping, but the action is strong. You can see there he's going with the wobble seam. Not quite cross seam, not quite seam up. It's a wobble seam. He's trying to cut the surface.
Finishes a very good over. 10 done, 39 for 4.
जैसे आप खाने में भरपूर प्यार डालते हैं वैसे ही बड़े प्यार से चुनिंदा इंग्रेडिएंट से फॉर्च्यून 25 सालों से बनाता आ रहा है। तेल से लेकर आटा, दाल से लेकर चावल, बेसन से लेकर सोया बड़ी और भी बहुत कुछ।
Mesmerize me and take me by surprise.
The unspoken language of showing you care.
Chinese? Yes, please.
Well, not a great power play for Sri Lanka, I'll tell you. They were very, very good off that. And Sanka looked good with that shot. But after that, it's just been a one-way street. Few edges, but Australia will definitely be the happy out of the two teams with 4 wickets in first 10 overs. And Sri Lanka will regret the fact that they had the opportunity of batting first after they won the toss.
I still think it's the right decision to bat first. This surface does look very, very dry, and it could get a lot more difficult to score on a bit later on. They just haven't handled the seam movement as well as they could have. And I know, you know, the priority is hitting boundaries in the first 10 overs while the field is up over rotation.
But now it's about rebuilding. There's so much work to be done. But the good thing is it's a 50-over game, so you've got enough time. Unlike a T20 game where things happen so quickly.
Absolutely, they have got time. And no, I think at this stage they've got to be thinking, can we still post 200? Can we, you know, if we can get to 200, 210, with the wicket the way it is, very dry, can the spinners of Sri Lanka come into the game early? And I like the thought of batting first here. I mean, having...
Yep, true. And also about batting a bit long, just making sure that, as you say, just get into a, I would say, some stable position. At the moment, it's a bit wobbly. You need to get into a position where both batters feel they're in. You've got a good partnership, and then you can look to try and make the adjustment. So, batting first, 11. Average first innings is 241. But that's we're talking day-night. But people generally like to bat first here.
And I like the thought of batting first here. I mean, having played here previously, it can become very, very difficult to score, especially in the second innings, especially in those middle overs. You've got the spinners operating. And I find, especially in Sri Lanka, you just can't afford to switch off as a batsman.
Bit of extra pace and bounce that time, extra effort. Ian again poking, very, very lucky he didn't nick it.
Yeah, I just get the impression that this pitch, it's double paced. You know, some balls really come off quite slow and low and sort of stay sort of stump height or halfway up the stumps, and then the odd one just shoots. And you get that bounce and pace out of nowhere, which makes batting so difficult. It makes it hard to hit through the line of the ball comfortably.
Well, he's going to get runs. Not where he intended it to go, but still, it will just break that monotony of dots. Just a single, 40 for 4.
जैसे आप खाने में भरपूर प्यार डालते हैं वैसे ही बड़े प्यार से चुनिंदा इंग्रेडिएंट से फॉर्च्यून 25 सालों से बनाता आ रहा है। तेल से लेकर आटा, दाल से लेकर चावल, बेसन से लेकर सोया बड़ी और भी बहुत कुछ।
परफेक्टली पिसा फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा, ये ज्यादा पानी सोखे और बड़ी आसानी से गूंज जाए, ताकि मेहनत से कमाई रोटी आप आसानी से बनाएं और मजे से खाएं। फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा, मेहनत कम, सॉफ्टनेस ज्यादा।
Well, in 11 overs, they've already played 48 dots. You're talking about 66 legal deliveries, and that tells you how tough it has been for Sri Lanka. In that kind of a, you know, first 10 overs, first 10 to 11 overs. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. That appeal is more in hope, but that was an absolutely brilliant delivery.
And any bowling coach would be delighted with that. You know, it's what they talk about all day long. On a pitch where there's movement, can you hit the top of off stump often? How often can you do it? Can you hit it 6 out of 6? And it's not very often any bowler can do that. You know, they're not robots, they're humans. And to hit the top of off 6 balls in a row is very, very difficult to do. But if you can keep the ball around that area, testing the batsman's edges either side.
Down to third man. It was uppish. Lineage saw it, went after it. Bit of a get out of jail shot for him. That was pitched up. There was a bit of movement as well.
I mean, there's a couple of ways to go about this for Sri Lanka. I mean, while the field is still up and you've still got 3 slips in there, do they put the pressure back on Australia? Do they decide, well, we're 4 down already, why don't we throw a punch back at Australia and come at them hard while the gaps are in the field? Can we get some boundaries away? Which is a risky option, because if you lose another one here, then you're really in trouble. Then it may be difficult for Sri Lanka to even post 150.
Australia would love that approach. They would love it. They would love Sri Lanka to take that approach with the slips in. Or slow one, cleverly bowled. But Sri Lanka is taking the second option that you're talking about. Play it safe. Try and build yourself to some stability. Give you those runs you're talking about. Maybe 200. At the moment it looks a little bit distant, but at least 200.
I mean, that will be the obvious approach from now. It's playing yourself in. But I just get the feeling on this surface you're never really going to be in. And that's why you've got to stay focused all the way through your innings here. And more so than anywhere I found in the world. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, these sort of conditions is where you have to be so focused. You can't afford to switch off at any point in your innings because the ball can just go past you. And it's not like Australia or England where when you get yourself set, you can play through the line and almost, I don't want to say switched off, but you can quite relax as a batsman. But I just find in the subcontinent, on tricky wickets, you just can't afford to switch off.
.43 for 4.
Me, mesmerize me, and take me by surprise.
The unspoken language of showing you care. Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Or financially risky. Play responsibly.
Collection Resort Gold is an exquisite resort that blends modern sophistication with vibrant South Beach coastal charm. It is also the first Radisson Collection hotel in the Southeast Asia and Pacific region. Welcome to the exceptional Radisson Collection Resort. Let's focus on the cricket. I know lots happening behind us in the box, but Ravi, don't get distracted by it. Now, that's the first sign of aggression, the one that you were talking about. Sri Lanka has thought enough is enough. If it's in my little region, I'm going to go after it.
I think it's a good option. I mean, it's the modern way. When you are in trouble, you can come back after the bowler as a batsman. The field is up. You know, the opportunities are there. Miss hits are going to go over and you get boundaries. But even there, you saw that wasn't an easy shot to play. I mean, the ball stayed a little bit low and it just does not look easy to hit through the line.
This time, that's better. On the previous one, I thought the bat turned a little bit. The 50 comes up. This one off the middle of the bat. Back-to-back boundaries, and that last boundary, the first one I'm talking about, came after 7 overs.
Yes, and good for Sri Lanka. He's just putting the pressure back on the bowler. He has overpitched a couple of times this over, looking for that edge. Easily done as a bowler when there's movement in the pitch. You tend to go that bit fuller, get a little bit greedy, and Sri Lanka's taken advantage of that overpitched delivery.
Oh, that's a good comeback, really good comeback delivery. Dragged the length a little bit shorter, went across the left-hander.
And Sri Lanka, he's known for his shots. I mean, he plays in the middle, very aggressive. He's got a very good record in T20 cricket. He has got the ability to play his shots, and you saw there opening up both sides of the field. And that's one thing left-handers have. They have that angle where they can make it very, very difficult for bowlers, because a lot of the time you might find yourself pitching the ball outside leg stump. And they play on that line. You know, they say, if the ball's anywhere in this line, I can just go with it because I know I'm not going to be bowled, I'm not going to get LBW. And then once you get hit over the leg side, you think, okay, let me just move my line a little bit, and suddenly it becomes width. And sometimes it can be a very, very difficult thing to bowl to a left-hander.
Got 20 over, but a good over for Sri Lanka. They got 9 of it, 52 for 4.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है. ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ.
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है. देखो हेल्प पे आ गई.
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना.
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn. Chinese?
Yes, please.
Well, just 2 big buildings. Otherwise, it's been a struggle. It's been rather low, actually. Charith Sri Lanka now 11 of 24. He was 19 of 3 balls. Those 2 boundaries have given him a bit of momentum. But it's been that kind of a start for Sri Lanka. It's been a struggle. They've been searching for runs. Those dots at the top of those buildings just showing the struggles and the way the wickets were lost. Well, he's had a good spell so far. He gets very close to the stumps, Ellis, and gets that ball to move.
This reminds me of the 1996 fixture. Sri Lanka versus Australia final, World Cup final. And it was in that World Cup where attacking the power play really came about. That's, you know, Sri Lanka invented coming after the new ball. You remember in those days, Sanath, Jayasuriya.
See, just talking about that 96 and power play, right, this man was instrumental and his partner was Romesh Kaluvikarna, right? It was an experiment in Australia. They were both middle order batters, and I know Arjuna Rantunga, Dulip Mendis and that crowd. Dulip, I think, was the coach. Yes, he was the coach. I'm not sure whether he was manager. No, Watmore was coach. Dulip was manager, but they were the brain trust. So they allowed these 2 players to go in, gave them the license, and as they say, the rest is history. Took Australia by storm in the team. And then they brought it to the World Cup, the power hitting. And I can tell you how Sana Jayasuriya just went after some of the top names. And then the power plays came in, field restrictions came in, lots changed after that. But that was the start, yes.
And it was brilliant from the Sri Lankans. They took everybody by storm and surprised everybody in that one.
It's good work. Cut off. I must tell you that Sri Lanka has their own brand of cricket. See, the thing about Sri Lanka cricket has been that they were successful because they never abandoned this. It just hits it hard and they continue playing that brand. It's not about being out and out aggressive, but they had their own game. Sana Jayasuriya, Ramesh Kaluvikarna, and then there was a batting lineup, Aravinda De Silva. There was Ranatunga, Guru Singha batted at 3. Then there was Mahanama and Tilakaratne who looked who were different, but they all complemented that batting lineup.
And Gurusingha was instrumental in that World Cup. He scored runs. He scored them at a good rate.
What a play he was. Unfortunate that that name doesn't get mentioned a lot, but he has been, along with Mahanama and Hashan, I mean, in that batting order, they have been so good. And Asanka Gurusingha carried on doing what he did before he retired and moved over to Australia.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, he doesn't get mentioned very often. When you've got the likes of Aravinda De Silva, big names like that. He had a fantastic World Cup as well, man of the match in that final. One of my favourite players as well to watch.
Well, tends to move across a little bit, got an inside edge, but he gets away with it with a single. 55 for 4.
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना दोनों क्यों नहीं स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी बेहतरीन झाग जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़ अब पकाओ मजेदार जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार
परफेक्टली पिसा फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा ये ज्यादा पानी सोखे और बड़ी आसानी से गूंद जाए ताकि मेहनत से कमाई रोटी आप आसानी से बनाएं और मजे से खाएं फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा मेहनत कम सॉफ्टनेस ज्यादा
Right, 55 for 4. There is a partnership of 24. Both Lianage and Asalanka just trying to dig in here. Different styles, of course. Asalanka was looking to break free with those boundaries. Lianage has been more singles, no boundaries still, but effective. Both of them.
I think we got to keep Simon Katic away from the commentary box, don't you think? Because Australia seem to take wickets when he's here. And we've done a good job of rebuilding here for Sri Lanka.
Well, if we could ever contribute, yes, we could take some credit. But we still got 1 over to go, Ravi. So let's not talk a bit early. But yeah, it's a good idea to keep a cat off when Sri Lanka bats and give him all the stints when Australia is batting.
I mean, I remember playing with Cat in the IPL. And then playing him again a few years later in the Ashes. He was a changed man in the Ashes. I mean, we got on so well in the IPL. And then, come the Ashes, he didn't speak a word to me. We were good mates.
Well, he's got good hit. Well, those are very comfortable boxes. The VIP boxes. He got all the dignitaries, the sponsors. They would come over and they'll watch it from a very comfortable position at a nice height, almost above the bowler's arm, above the side screen. That's a nice spot to be in. I know the commentary box, the media box is the best seat. Oh, that taken, is it? Yes, Steve Smith has taken it. So, wicket number 5, Lianage. For a moment I thought it bounced, but it was a good catch. Abbott has broken through.
And it's a very, very similar dismissal to the ones before, where the Sri Lankan batsmen are not quite getting out to the ball and just hanging their hands.
TVM Party Director.
We're going to have a little look at this. Did it carry?
Catch.
That's the question. That's what the umpires want to check.
Best angle for the catch, please.
waiting.
Brian forward for me, please. Do you have another angle for me, please?
I think it carried.
Here's at the fingers under the ball. Brian forward for me, please. Do you have an? I just want to make sure because the ground seems to dip as the fingers and the ball are close to each other. Copy, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the fingers are clearly underneath the ball. I'm ready to make my decision for the big screen.
Yep, that is a good catch by Smith. Janit Lenage had a torrid time. Had to survive. He very nearly got through, but out for 11. Sri Lanka half out for 55, and it is time for some drinks.
परफेक्टली पिसा फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा। ये ज्यादा पानी सोखे और बड़ी आसानी से गूंज जाए, ताकि मेहनत से कमाई रोटी आप आसानी से बनाएं और मजे से खाएं। फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा, मेहनत कम, सॉफ्टनेस ज्यादा।
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
Shaving discomfort? Never again. My Gillette Mark III has 3 facial adaptive blades that give a shave so comfortable, it feels like floating.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Gillette Mark III, zero effort shaving.
Hold me, mesmerize me, and take me by.
The unspoken language of love.
मजा आ गया, यही गाड़ी लेनी है।
और इंश्योरेंस कहाँ से लेना?
What a question. शोरूम से।
और कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है सर। कोई जबरदस्ती है क्या?
कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है। डायरेक्ट ACO से लो और 36,000 तक बचाओ।
Finding jobs that are right for you. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
मजा आ गया, यही गाड़ी लेनी है।
और इंश्योरेंस कहाँ से लेना?
What a question. शोरूम से।
और कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है सर। कोई जबरदस्ती है क्या?
कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है। डायरेक्ट ACO से लो और 36,000 तक बचाओ।
कुछ खबर है तुम्हारी गाड़ी कहाँ है, कहाँ रिपेयर हो रही है?
गैराज में। विंडशील्ड फिक्स हो गई। फाइनल चेकअप डन। कार इज हियर।
इतनी मेहनत के बाद खाना अच्छा होना तो बनता है। मेहनत का फल वीबा होता है।
Life tastes better with Viva.
Discover Sri Lanka's Coastal Live, which offers a vibrant mix of adventures and natural wonders. Surfing hotspots like Arugam Bay and Hikkadu provide perfect waves for all skill levels. Revealing colorful coral reefs and marine life, while Mirissa and Kalpitiya are popular hotspots for dolphins and whales watching. Watching has been tough for the crowd today, with the Sri Lankans losing 5 wickets in 14.3 overs. There has been an exhibition of seam and swing bowling by the 4 quicks of Australia. At number 7, Dunit Bellalage, the young man playing his 22nd innings, average of 21. Those numbers will improve. He's a promising youngster, still very early to international cricket. Lanka has found it really tough this morning, with all 4 seamers of Australia have been wonderful.
You're right, Farwez. Australian bowlers have bowled really well, hit some wonderful areas. They've been backed by attacking fields, which have also contributed to their success. Their attitude and approach, top class, but do have to say it's been poor batting from the Sri Lankan batters. This is the last one. Just a tentative poke outside the off stump. Smart catch once again from Steve Smith. Not an assertive stride forward either. All the wickets that have fallen have been pretty much that. Australia have been good in bowling that length, which creates doubt in the batter's mind. They've hit the deck hard. Very little movement off the seam, which they have found with the angles. But they've just not been up to it. Pretty much a follow-up of Sri Lanka's batting approach in the Test series.
No ball being called by Pragitra Bukkala. Here's something Sri Lankans will be happy about. Break the shackles with Dunit Wellalage on strike, 3 sips and a gully. Remember, since the batsmen have not exchanged and the field cannot change. That's a ball by Shauna, but just going away from Dunit Wellalage. And over striding. Bit off, cover point quite straight. Third man fine leg square as well and a mid-on. And Wellalage probably will open up the offside because he's very strong through the offside.
Imagine this field. This is of course a free hit. He can't change the field for this delivery. In a one-day game in Colombo. Third man. He'll watch it go over his head. And he rides it Wellalage off the mark with a 6.
Too much width by Shauna, but and the length was on the shorter side on a slow surfer. He just sits up. Wellalage, as expected, opens the front foot, gives the full Monty. He opens his account with a massive 6. It's a mixture of good bowling, but mostly some tentative batting outside the off stump have been the downfall of Sri Lanka. The next over we'll talk in depth, but some of the dismissals with the new ball. Seven runs from that over, 62 for 5.
परफेक्टली पिसा फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा ये ज्यादा पानी सोखे और बड़ी आसानी से गूंज जाए ताकि मेहनत से कमाई रोटी आप आसानी से बनाएं और मजे से खाएं। फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा, मेहनत कम, सॉफ्टनेस ज्यादा।
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
Fantastic bowling, including Janit Trinage, the last man to dismissed. The problem has been the foot movement of the batters, not going anywhere. First to go was Pathumni Sankat, not covering the off stump. Avishka Fernando, tentative poke, playing away from the body. And similar with Kusal Mendis as well. That has been his downfall for a longer period. An easy catch with the third slip. And even Janit Trinage, it's half-hearted effort. And most of the time, all the batters have not covered the line. And on this sort of a pitch where it's not much field movement, enough, actually it's a tiny movement, most of the time we'll get the outside edge.
Yeah, you tend to follow it, you're searching for the ball. When we talk about foot movement, it's about transfer of weight, where you're flowing into shots, not seeing it and poking, but that's where Australia have been good. Spencer Johnson with his height, extra pace. Aaron Hardy was extremely impressive when he kept hitting back of a length.
Outside edge. And I was trying to remember, when was the last time the first 16 overs, not a single over by spin by opposition side or even Sri Lankan side at home? Not top of my mind, Russell. Maybe you?
But when the seamers are on top, you continue with them. And Steve Smith will also like to see what Nathan Ellis can do, give him a run. Sean Abbott as well. To the 2 ODIs played in preparation for Australia to go across to the Champions Trophy. So there will be an eye there, and hence give all these players a run as well. So they'll be very, very pleased that they are understanding how to use these conditions.
I've got the first choice players like Travis said, Glenn Maxwell, Josh Inglis, all been given a rest and given a youngsters a go.
It's important whoever gets a chance to put their hands up, and that's where I'm very impressed with Elise and Abbott as a backup spin fast bowlers for Johnson and Hardy. They've made sure they've kept the pressure by hitting the length, particular length, and making sure the feet movements of the batters are being questioned consistently. Outside, oh, I thought it was outside edge.
But again, as we've been talking about, no footwork, following the deliveries with their hands. It happens once again.
Looking at the pitch conditions, dry, hardly a blade of green grass. Quite surprised the amount of movement off the pitch especially. I feel it's more than the pitch, it's just the ability of the Australian fast bowlers making the full maximum out of this pitch. Crowd will be disappointed with the effort so far. Has to be a wide, has to be a wide. Pegit Nambukwala from square leg. Quite clear and sure that it was way too ahead. It's a good chance for Lalage, did not play up in New Zealand. Chamindra Wickramasinghe filled that all-rounder's role. Get some time in the middle and make sure he puts up a partnership with captain.
Of course, conditions dictate that, doesn't it? He is playing here as the third spinner, the third all-rounder. Bat and also his left-arm spin, but in New Zealand conditions, Sri Lanka need a seaming option.
Square him up. Good delivered by Nathan Ellis. Precise, a seam movement away. And lucky for Dunit Lalage, the outside edge did not carry for the second slip.
But watch the feet. The length so good, they're peppering them, just not being able to judge length as early as they should. That's the mindset the Sri Lankan batters have been, and they're not just helping their cause at all.
Just mentioned about peppering that good length, Russell. I think that's been the best part about the Australian fast bowlers this morning. Just like that, on a good length, hitting the deck hard. 65 for 5.
जहां बड़े बिजनेस आइडियाज अक्सर लेते हैं उड़ान, शार्क टैंक इंडिया अब कर रहा है एक और यूनिक इनिशिएटिव को किकस्टार्ट। अगर आपका बिजनेस है दिव्यांगों के लिए या उनके द्वारा, तो ये है आपका स्पेशल चांस, क्योंकि शार्क टैंक स्टेज से जुड़ूंगा मैं, जीत अदानी, देने आपको सपोर्ट एंड गाइडेंस। I'll see you India on Shark Tank India.
Registrations खुले हैं सिर्फ 15 फरवरी तक। Shark Tank India Season 4 exclusively on Sony Live.
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
A relatively inexperienced side. Only Steve Smith, Adam Zampa played triple figures. Manus Labuschagne have been in the system a long time, as well as Alex Carey. Mentioned about Glenn Maxwell. Travis said Josh Inglis has not been part of this ODIs, I'm sure. Maybe the second ODI or the Champions Trophy. They will be in contention. That's a good shot. Very good shot from Vellal. Again, not much feet movement, but the transfer of weight was a success in that occasion.
Cracking shot. The sound of the bat was just loud. And when you see the ball fly off the bat like that, you think that this pitch is a good one. Hitting through the line. 4 slips and a gully waiting. Sean Abbott searching for that fuller length. A little too full.
Pulling back the length, and good shot again by Vellal, sitting back in the crease. And the outfield will take care of itself. Back-to-back boundaries for Vellal again.
The crowd find their voice finally. That's a top shot from Vellal again. Again hitting the top of the bounce. Shots like that will be straight away indicate. Get yourself into a proper position. You'll be able to get your hands through it. 3 slips now await. The fourth fielder now at a sweeper cover on the boundary.
Good shot again. Vellal will be liking these conditions. He has spent his last 2 to 3 weeks playing in the SA-T20, almost similar pitches. A bounce, some movement. He has to look good.
Back-to-back boundary, the first one, not much feet movement. The front foot, second sitting behind and high heel boot, making sure it goes through the extra cover area. Very good start for Lal again, and Charita Sri Lanka, who has remained in the crease for 27 deliveries, just scoring 12 runs. They're quite confident. Looking at the young man from the other end, how he's striking the ball.
Now Sri Lanka has to assess what's a score he can defend, and then project how he gets there. At the same rate, 220. What Sri Lanka can get to. Average score batting first in day games. This is a day game, mind you, so it's 216. The difference here is in these pitches, yes, it's on the dry side. They will slow down. They will slow down further for the second innings. Edged its forward, flies away. Those couple of boundaries, and all of a sudden Steve Smith reducing those slips. Charita Sri Lanka, it works in his favour.
Yeah, for a second, Charita Sri Lanka's heart would have been in his mouth. Again, outside the yaw stump, this time he went through the stroke. That's why the pace that Shaunabad did bowl, it did fly through. Not much feet movement again, that the length is causing so much problem for Sri Lankan batters. Changes the angle. Shaunabad, the last delivery, coming around the wicket to Charit. Through the gap. There is a sweeper cover in front. And that's the fielding. Bagurk at extra cover saves couple of runs. 80 for 5.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है. ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ.
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है. देखो हेल्प पे आ गई.
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना.
परफेक्टली पिसा फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा. ये ज्यादा पानी सूखे और बड़ी आसानी से गूंज जाए, ताकि मेहनत से कमाई रोटी आप आसानी से बनाएं और मजे से खाएं. फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा. मेहनत कम, सॉफ्टनेस ज्यादा.
एको चेक कर लेना.
A testing time for Sri Lanka in the first 17 overs. 70 dot deliveries. The last ball of the previous over, it wasn't Magog, it was Cooper Connolly. At extra cover, did that fielding and saved a couple of runs for Australia.
Look for this. In the last over, I was talking about how you need to project. But with what Australia have dished out so far, hard for Sri Lanka to project. Because the real threat where we see in these conditions, the second session, Sri Lankan bowlers, their strengths can only be judged now. Adam Zampa's been introduced. How the spin plays on this pitch. Coming into it, we think it's going to turn, it's going to slow down. 230 would have been a good score. But Sri Lanka needs to reassess that right now and project how he's going to get there. These two staying together to the 30th, 35th over allows you to get to that 230. At the toss, though, he told me he'd like at least 270, 280. I thought that was aiming a little too high at that stage.
Juicy full toss to start by Adam Zampa. I think in this, the message from the dressing room will be quite clear to the captain. Try and get 200 plus. With Sri Lanka playing 3 frontline spinners. Charita Sri Lanka as a part-time, even coming to Mendes and ambidextrous. And you looking at the pitch, you expect it to slow down and turn. If these kind of servers we've seen in the past, especially just 6 months ago against India, Sri Lanka did put up a very good performance. The difference was those are night games. Nicely played by Charita Sri Lanka, totally in control, and the fielder at deep square leg had no chance. Poor start by Adam Zampa in the first 2 deliveries.
What you need at this stage in the middle of the wicket is a run thief. And Sri Lanka steals that. He gets on the back foot, deflects it off the stumps, and all of a sudden, few runs are flowing. 30 runs, this partnership of 19. Well, Alage has made a difference, being able to get a few boundaries away.
A leg slip in place for Adam Zampa of the previous delivery which went for a boundary. The option of Matthew Short also is a good option with two left-handers in the middle. With his side, I'm sure he'll enjoy the bounce. This pitch might offer. Has three options, Australia. Cooper Connolly, the left-arm spinner. Adam Zampa on pursuit at the moment. I think Matthew Short after the spell from Shauna, but will be a very good option to have.
Left-arm spin of Cooper Connolly. But the leading spinner is, of course, Zampa. Carey's not got his name or number on the t-shirt that he's wearing. Quite bare and very different to all the other Australian players out there. The heart rate monitor.
Googly. Slightly full. Not the ideal start by Zampa so far. Full toss, a half volley down the leg side. It's crucial with a wrist spin on these kind of surfaces. If he gets it right, he'll be in handful. And that's what Steve Smith will be hoping, that Zampa will find that good length. Just like that. 6 runs from that over, 86 for 5.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है. ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ.
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है. देखो हेल्प भी आ गई.
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना.
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Centrum.
Five bowlers been used so far. Johnson, Hardy, Abbott. All the wickets have been taken by the seamers. Ellis has been really impressive, though there's no wickets to show. And looks like Spencer Johnson will get another go for his second spell. Bowled from the same end media box end. Two slips in place. Oh, beaten again. Thought the bounce was quite awkward, and Charita Sri Lanka was surprised with the amount of bounce in that delivery.
And still searching for wickets is Steve Smith.
Shot again from Zampa at third man middle to do the fielding. I thought for a second the car point fielder was in front of Skar was in the game.
And not too far from him. Australian seamers today, they've been hitting that length, back of a length, that length which coaches ask from them. That's the length which causes doubt in the mind of the batters. They've used that very often, and that's the reason the Sri Lankans have really struggled to come to terms out in the middle. They've used the short ball well. Couple of wickets, and that's quietly slid in that fuller delivery. Pathum Nisanka and Kamindu Mendis, those dismissed there.
A 6 to 8 meter has been peppered, and 4 meter length have been the effective one with 2 wickets. That's to get the batters not to commit to the front foot, and all of a sudden you throw it up and you find the batter having the weight behind and not much feet movement. That had happened to Pathum Nisanka as well as Kusal Mendis, even Janit Trinage.
He's moved himself to that wideish gully now, Steve Smith. The area that Sri Lanka used to get the ball away earlier in the over.
Steve Smith and Manas Labuschagne, not much gap between those two. Charita Sri Lanka played one officially earlier. That's almost similar area. It's good batting. Very good batting by Chari, playing close to his body. He knows, he understands how big partnership this is going to be to get to that 200, 250, which we feel might be a fighting score.
Well, Lalages, of course, got off to a 18 or 14. He got off the mark with a free hit. He was given that breathing space early. But the ideal type of player for this type of situation. For the grind, steal runs and build on it. Lot of time remaining, lot of time to play that shot, but outstanding fielding in the deep. That's Fraser McGurk for you, 90 for 5.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ।
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है। देखो हेल्प पे आ गई।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
A partnership of 35 of 29 deliveries. Trying to rebuild his innings, get some respectability back. Captain and the young man, Dunitwal Lala. This was the last ball of the previous over. Fraser McGurk, very good effort. A tag team effort in the end. But Nathan Ellis from fine leg does the fielding. Trying enough attack for Adam Zampa. Looks like going to be middle and leg stump, and this is good running. Putting the pressure and making sure there is a mistake, and Cooper Connolly took the eyes away, and there was another single there.
Now that's how you score runs here at the R. Premadasa Stadium. Outfield very quick, but big areas. It's 65-meter boundaries on either side. Square of the wicket. You run the opposition ragged. Keep accumulating your runs and take that innings deep. That's a better line. Bowling a little too straight earlier, Zampa.
And I also think that Zampa is quite worried about not bowling too much outside the off-stump, because Lalage and Charita Sri Lanka both very good through extra cover and mid-off. And hence maybe he's trying to bowl too straight, and it's not an attacking line. The previous delivery looked like an attacking line and a threatening one. Full again. Hasn't got his radar yet. Zampa has been a wonderful servant for Australian cricket in the white ball circuit. I've had plenty of success in the past in Sri Lanka. I remember 2 years ago when Australia was here last. He bowled really well up here in Pallakele as well as Premadasa.
You still wouldn't have much to work with as a spinner. Not much rough on offer. There'll be wear and tear as we get deeper into the day. Just what I was about to try and suggest. You've got to slow it up in these slower conditions. He tries that, but a little too full.
The game plan is quite simple. Best time to bat with the new ball, skidding on. Unfortunately, Sri Lanka found it hard with the Aussie bowlers getting movement off the seam as well as in the air. Come the afternoon session, seeing how the pitch is behaving, I reckon Australians will be using those 10 overs into their advantage by being aggressive up front, and expect the pitch to slow down a little bit with Deekshana, Lalage, Hasaranga coming into fore. In the middle overs won't be that easy. Do that game plan. This partnership has to carry on for Sri Lanka. Just the 4 runs from that over. 94 for 5.
परफेक्टली पिसा फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा। ये ज्यादा पानी सोखे और बड़ी आसानी से गूंज जाए, ताकि मेहनत से कमाई रोटी आप आसानी से बनाएं और मजे से खाएं। फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा, मेहनत कम, सॉफ्टनेस ज्यादा।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Life tastes better with Viva.
This is the Abe Singer clan here, hosted by Vice President of Sri Lanka Cricket, International Cricket I should say, Dr. Jayanta Dharmadasa, also out there.
Charita Sri Lanka first ball, get off the mark. Mr. Basing is so happy seeing the family. Left his seat and probably left to go to the box. There he is. He's off. Nicely played by Velalage, riding with the bounce and making sure there's that flick shot down the ground. We're testing time with Spencer Johnson hitting the deck hard, getting that awkward bounce, but I just feel Velalage has a very good game plan at the moment, not committing to the front foot, but most importantly having his weight in the front foot. That's the important part.
Couple of overs here for Johnson just to get a feel for execution in the middle overs. Holding back the other spinning options is Steve Smith, so he's in a very comfortable zone the moment in what he's getting out of his players, giving them the opportunity to understand, prime themselves. They're in control of the game so far. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. How good was that arm? Sean Abbott in the deep, but I think Sri Lanka's home.
Yeah, quick throw from fine leg. Charita Sri Lanka did really well in the end to get his sprinting boots out. Probably didn't think of the second one when he ran the first, when I realized there's an opportunity. And all of a sudden saw that throw coming in so quick, he had to get these wheels up. Powerful throw from fine leg, almost got the job done. Fantastic cricket by Australia. They have played some wonderful cricket this morning. Even in the two test matches, they have been quite ruthless with their catching, with their fielding, the energy levels. Sign of a team full of confidence and very well led by Steve Smith. Into his sixth over, Spencer Johnson, quite expensive, almost 6 runs per over. But most important, couple of wickets in front of square. With the bluff of bowling the bounce, having deep square leg, fine leg at the boundary line, going for the Yorker, but missed out.
He survived. He's had to work hard to get a start. Sri Lanka, it was only 3 runs of 19. But now motoring along nicely, his feet working a lot better. He's the key in taking Sri Lanka to a competitive score. In my mind, that's something around 240. 240 they'll get at this rate that they're going at the moment.
Oh, beaten again. Let me tell you why the length was fuller. It was a bluff with Dunit Velalage has a leg gully in place. Probably think he's going to be the body shot. Follow-up delivery by Spencer Johnson was in the channel just outside the yaw stump. The corridor of uncertainty. Mind games being dished out. A perfect length. This is what I like about Steve Smith's captaincy. He's never satisfied. He's always in the attack and very proactive.
प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है देखो हेल्प पे आ गई
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना दोनों क्यों नहीं स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी बेहतरीन झाग जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़ अब पकाओ मजेदार जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार
Exclusively on Sony Live.
Right, that second 50 looks better. It's quicker. There's a reason for that.
Not from an Australian perspective, Roshan. Need more wickets.
You're right. But I was just summing it up. I'm sorry, I forgot you're seated next to me. Yeah, not from an Australian perspective. But the Sri Lankans will take heart. They batted better. 5 down for 55. Didn't look too good. They needed to bat deep, and 46 of 41 is not just about batting deep, it's about the way they have set about doing things. So now, we've just seen Zampa being replaced. Now that's a big move as far as the Sri Lankan batters are concerned. Of course, there are 2 left-handers, so the off-spinner can be useful.
Yeah, it's a surprise to see Zampa removed after 2 overs, but you can understand with 2 left-handers out there. And Matt Short gets the opportunity now. Zampa was quite full in his first couple of overs.
Just wondering because there's a particular speed that he's very comfortable bowling at. I was wondering whether he was trying to change it, bowl it slower and maybe bowl it a little bit fuller. I'm just thinking because we've seen him bowl at a particular speed.
Yeah, particularly in T20 cricket, he is fuller because he doesn't want to see batters get underneath the length and try to get aerial on him. But I think today he definitely just got that a little bit too full. Couldn't quite find his length here on this surface, but still plenty of time for him to come back into the game.
Yeah, this surface has a lot of prospects for the spinners, that's for sure. Well, he's been brilliant. He's been a brilliant white ball bowler, hasn't he? 5-for in T20s. I mean, imagine a 5-for in T20s in a matter of 4 overs. Basically formed the backbone of the Australian bowling makeup. The faster bowlers coming on and then he just squeezes them, the batting in the middle.
Yeah, you hear a lot of his teammates talk about how he's the most important player in the team at times, particularly in that World Cup in India 2023. Plays a crucial role in being able to try and take those match-changing wickets. The end of the 22nd over, Sri Lanka 102 for 5.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है देखो हेल्प पे आ गई
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना दोनों क्यों नहीं स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी बेहतरीन झाग जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़ अब पकाओ मजेदार जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
102 for 5, the rate of scoring up a little bit. There was a time that Sri Lanka was looking to survive, but this partnership is a little bit more than surviving. Like the way Dunit Lalage has looked to be a little bit more aggressive, shown a bit more intent. Now, Zampa has been switched around. He's going to come on at the opposite end. With left-handers on strike. Interesting to see what he would be looking to bowl. Obviously look to bowl the wrong end, the top spin. May not find too many leg breaks.
Well, given the 5 men in the ring, mid-off being up, expect that he's not really going to give them too much width to be able to free their hands and hit over cover or mid-off. But I dare say there'll be some wrong-uns on that sort of leg stump middle line.
Lovely use of the feet. Lovely use of the feet. Got to the pitch of it and then through the line.
And that's brilliant batting. 50 partnership comes up with wonderful footwork. Saw plenty of this in the Test series. Dancing down the wicket. Sri Lanka now showing what he's capable of in white ball cricket. Great use of the feet to put Zampa off that line and length.
I think the game plan looks quite clear for Sri Lanka. They'll be happy with one. They're not letting Zampa settle in. That looks clear. They've gone after him. Every time it's tossed up, they've come down the pitch. They look to work him around. So obviously Zampa would have been discussed a lot at team meeting. And this is a good partnership, 52 or 50. Come in good time. You could see that. You could see the approach. Every time it's tossed up, they're looking to take him on, looking to drive, looking for runs, basically.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can easily play a bowler on reputation, and he's got a wonderful reputation and record, but you've got to play what's in front of you. And today he hasn't quite found that length, and as a result, Lankans are trying to pounce. And it has been a really good change in tempo to this game, which we see in T20 cricket, the up-tempo game. That's been transferred into 50-over cricket now. There's windows where this ball's still hard. They're using 2 new balls at each end, so it's still only 11 overs old. It's still got some hardness to it where they can put pressure on the bowlers.
quicker, shorter. India single. 7 off the over. 109 for 5.
परफेक्टली पिसा फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा ये ज्यादा पानी सोखे और बड़ी आसानी से गूंज जाए ताकि मेहनत से कमाई रोटी आप आसानी से बनाएं और मजे से खाएं। फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा, मेहनत कम, सॉफ्टनेस ज्यादा।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Chinese? Yes, please.
Of 53 balls.
Yeah, the Sri Lankan captain, Sri Lanka. This is Walalage, first ball. 6 off a free hit. They were particularly brutal square of the wicket, any sort of width. Used to their advantage through the offside. Now, looking busy off Matt Short as well, trying to rotate strike and keep things ticking along at just over a run a ball as they've gone for their 55-run partnership so far. They needed it after getting into some trouble at 5 for 55. It's a good fight back.
Short and wide. Velalage pounces on it. They'll come for 2. See, there's a good tempo about this partnership and also the rhythm of this partnership. It's not about dot boundary. They're just trying to rotate the strike. They're looking for boundaries, but it's the rotation. It's those 1s and 2s that they're now gradually starting to get. But it tells you that there is a reasonable amount of ease that the pair of batters are setting about. But as we know, there is so much more cricket left in this game. Still not even at the halfway mark. But Sri Lanka will take heart out of this. I'll be hoping now this is into the 24th over. Obviously, they'll be breaking it down to little targets. Game is very good of picking length. Short and wide on the back foot.
We talked about the selection of the Australians before the game, about the fact that they were playing 4 seamers on a surface that looked like it's going to aid spin. But part of that might have been the Australian hierarchy feeling like the Sri Lankan batters were less comfortable facing pace than they are against spin. And we're starting to see that a little bit now in this middle phase against Matt Short and Adam Zampa, starting to build some momentum in this innings after the Australian quicks ripped the top order apart.
Got 5 runs in the over, just a single dot.
Oh, nice.
114 for 5.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ।
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है। देखो हेल्प भी आ गई।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
Very important partnership, not big as yet, but important partnership in the context of where Sri Lanka is at the moment. 114 for 5. And what is impressive is that they matched each other. Velalage has almost matched 28. Sri Lanka has made 29 in that partnership. Zampa is struggling a little bit. You could see that he's struggling with his length. See, either he's been full or full tosses. Just tell me about the speed he's bowling here, Dad, because the first ball was the high 70s, this in the mid 80s, but his stock ball is generally high 80s to the low 90s, if I read him correctly.
Well, after that last ball, look down at the crease, so whether he's lost a spike. It just feels like he's slipping on this dry surface. Whether he feels like he can get up and over his front leg and finish his action off, because it's been a very full initial spell.
Another full toss. Now he, out of 3 deliveries, he's bowled 2 full tosses.
Yeah, it's been a real surprise to see. When you look at his pitch map here, that high percentage in that full and over pitch zone. Whereas normally you would see Adam Zampa peppering that the 4 to 5 metre mark, depending on the conditions and pace in the wicket. But today there, 80% of balls in that full or over pitch mark.
Oh, that's well bowled. That's well bowled. Look at the pace in the mid-80s, and it's a very good length, hurried on a bit.
Yeah, this is right on the money. Ask you a good question there. Just look like it might spin back in with the angle of the seam, but just slides on. We had a little bit of doubt there.
Very much in play that time. Had that taken the pad. Played left, played well. That's the width. And a bit of pace on that as well. It's a big over. In the context, 6 runs off it, 120 for 5.
कुछ खबर है तुम्हारी गाड़ी कहाँ है, कहाँ रिपेयर हो रही है?
गैराज में विंडशील्ड फिक्स हो गई, फाइनल चेकअप डन, कार इज हियर।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Performing or financially risky. Play responsibly.
Let's look at the R. Premadasa International Stadium. That's what the drone gives you. This is worth taking a look.
Yeah, the wrong and last ball that over, too much width, but beautifully played. Using that line and pace to guide it behind backward point, and the outfield did the rest. It's rapid.
Really clever batting by Charita Sri Lanka. Just waited. And that was the attempted wrong, and so he was not playing against a delivery that was turning back, so he went with the angle.
Yeah, that 4 off Zampa is a great example of times in the modern game players want to use the power to the leg side, but on that occasion with the width on offer, additional late cut.
Well done. Got his body behind it. The Lalage of Sri Lanka, I beg your pardon, picked the line well. Fired in. That was 4, had it gone past the fielder. Oh, bold. That went with the arm.
Yeah, that's a much better line from Matt Short. It's the first ball, he was fortunate, it was drifting down leg, and Sri Lanka knows there's a big gap out at deep backward square. But on this occasion, asking a good question, top of off.
Well, what this partnership has given Sri Lanka is some solidity. Now, they're into the 30th over, or into the 26th over, I beg your pardon. Oh, taken! What a catch! We're talking about solidity, we're talking about partnerships, but what about this? That was outstanding. Talk about a catch.
Well, Steve Smith carries on from the Test series. He is an absolute genius, whether it's with the bat in his hand or at first slip. The quick saw spin, and on this occasion, this is an absolute beauty from Steve Smith. It goes fine and quickly to his right. One-handed, almost behind himself. Reels it in. The Australian skipper leading by example. That is a beauty. That sees the end of Wellalagate. And he goes for 30 in Sri Lanka. 122 for 6.
जैसे आप खाने में भरपूर प्यार डालते हैं वैसे ही बड़े प्यार से चुनिंदा इंग्रेडिएंट से फॉर्च्यून 25 सालों से बनाता आ रहा है। तेल से लेकर आटा, दाल से लेकर चावल, बेसन से लेकर सोया बड़ी और भी बहुत कुछ।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Centrum.
Wanindu Hasaranga, he comes in at a reasonably comfortable situation. I mean, had he come in Sri Lanka 55 for 5, things would have been different. But he can handle the bat. He's got a best of 80. He bats at number 7, number 8. Good strike rate, close to 1,000 runs. But this is a wow moment. I'll tell you, this is a truly wow moment. This catch, outstanding. Yes, it was to his right, but still, look at the judgment. Look at the timing. Look at that reaction. They know it. Hands on head. They know it's a brilliant catch. Simply a magnificent effort. 122 for 6.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ।
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है। देखो हेल्प पे आ गई।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
Chinese? Yes, please.
Madasa Stadium, exciting development, no doubt. A state-of-the-art swimming pool. There's a high-performance center. Indonets are currently under construction. Lots happening, and these cutting-edge facilities are obviously going to enhance the training standards. And surely it will provide world-class amenities for all the players. Well, the completion of this is expected in the next couple of months, and this is also another proof of showing that Sri Lanka cricket is committed to strengthen the excellence of cricket in Sri Lanka and giving the players the opportunity of training, fantastic facilities. It's really good to see this. It's good to see such development happening because it's important. Facilities are so important, isn't it? Training, and we do know that there's so much happening outside the ground. There's so much plotting and planning, honing of skills. There's so much of emphasis. So when you have facilities like this being developed, Sri Lanka cricket is into this high-performance centers, the centers of excellence that's around the country in different places, and Colombo is another one. That's very encouraging for everyone watching.
The modern players have got access to wonderful facilities and all sorts of improvements in recovery, diet, science, sports science. So, wonderful way to improve your game. Zampa's been on the money in this over so far. It's the one off it. And that's what happens with a new batsman on strike. Hasaranga, right-hander now, worried about that ball skidding on and attacking the stumps. Watching for the wrong one. Bid-on's up, so he's got the carrot being dangled by Steve Smith.
Hit hard. Mid off is 2/3. He'll get a single. There's 2 off that over. 1, 2, 4 for 6.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ।
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है। देखो हेल्प पे आ गई।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
Finding jobs that are right for you. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Tell you that Australia on this tour have been very sharp, whether it is batting or bowling and fielding, of course. And this man, we've seen some brilliant catches, brilliant grabs. I wonder whether you remember that catch he took in the test match. I mean, that was outstanding. See, look at that catch of Dhananjay De Silva in the test match. Look how low he goes. Brilliant grab, centimeters off the surface. And then today, first Aussie to take 200 catches in Test cricket. And no surprises when he takes catches like this.
Well, he's been doing it for years, whether it's against pace. Saw him take one like that in Perth, diving full stretch at Optus Stadium a few years ago. Absolute screamer. I think it was against New Zealand, and then they're off spin, Matt Short. He's a wonderful catcher. He walked straight into second slip as an 18-year-old when he debuted for New South Wales. And I never forget looking around thinking, how's he managed to do that? Because back in the day, an 18-year-old would go straight to short leg. And then I had to have a good hard talking to myself, saying, how have I allowed that to happen as skipper? But he was that good, it had to happen.
Yeah, he's just shown that. He's shown that. So where were you? Were you at short leg?
I probably should have been. No, I was at first slip. And then I think Phil Hughes was at third slip. And he was perfect for third slip. Staying low, balls at the SCG don't carry all the time. So, but he's always been a wonderful catcher, Steve Smith. The anticipation, the athleticism, and he's got big, strong hands.
To go back, Australia has had some really great slippers. I mean, another look. Well, I can remember the Chappell brothers. They were brilliant. Mark Waugh used to be spoken of. Ricky Ponting. Taylor? What about Taylor? Taylor?
Yeah, it's an area of the game that Australia have always prided themselves on, catching and getting run-outs, particularly in this form of the game. And today, once again, they've been very good, although that's probably not an example of it. The end of the 28th over, Sri Lanka 128 for 6.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ।
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है। देखो हेल्प पे आ गई।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
6 balls has been used so far by Australia, and Sri Lanka are in trouble. 128 for 6. That's Sri Lanka, and Durit Vellalage was building a nice partnership until Vellalage was taken brilliantly by Steve Smith. Manidu Hasaranga, naturally aggressive. The first 8 deliveries he has faced, he has been quite steady. Nathan Ellis, who had the brilliant 4 overs from the opposite end. Corporate boxes now gets a go from the media box, and all really well unlucky that wickets column is 0. Easily could have had 1 or 2 any other day, but he was fantastic. As I say, very good morning and welcome to Sri Lanka, Ravi B.
Thank you. And Sri Lanka by no means out of this. I think 128 for 6. They've got themselves back into a good position. They were 40 for 4 and really struggling or reeling. But a good partnership
in the middle there, and Sri Lanka's played a beautiful innings there. He's been in good form for Sri Lanka in one-day cricket over the years.
Comes down the track, and I thought Nathan Ellis did see Charita Sri Lanka dancing down the track, pulled the length back. And Charita Sri Lanka, yeah, last year a fantastic year leading up to this ODI series. He did not play the Test series. Had a couple of good games for SSC, scored some runs, picked up wickets in the domestic setup. So clearly a man on a mission. ODI career in Sri Lanka, very good average of 53.5 almost. That's outstanding. As a captain as well, he has earned the respect from the world. Slow ball. Very nice disguise by Nathan Ellis.
And this is a very good slow ball. It's at the back of the hand. It looks very, very similar to his stock delivery. As you can see, the seam is stood up. Very, very difficult to pick. Having played against him a couple of times, and obviously facing him in the nets, actually, at London Spirit. Can be a tricky customer, especially at the death.
A real competitor. Hustles, bustles, running in, give his all in every delivery. Good weapon to have for a fast bowler is the back of the arm slow delivery, Ravi. I'm sure you've played a lot against him, as well as bowlers who bowl this sort of a delivery. Very hard to pick up.
It is difficult to pick up, but it's a ball that's kind of gone out of fashion. It was, used quite a lot sort of 5-6 years ago, and even before that. Harvey, I thought, was the first exponent of it.
Yeah, Ian Harvey, Adam Dale, top of the mark, and even Venkatesh Prasad, the leg cutter. He bowled, was fantastic, and Javagal Srinath, the floating one with their height.
What about you? You also bowled it.
I actually picked it up from Venkatesh Prasad. I had a one-on-one once in Bangalore when I went on a private trip. I did have a one-on-one with Venkatesh Prasad. I picked up a lot of good bits that I could easily take it off my game. And this is how you learn, right? I mean, also looking at the modern day generation players playing lots of franchise cricket, they do team up with the opposition, so you can learn the art of different tactics.
Absolutely, and learning off some of the best. I now remember watching your slow ball on TV on slow motion.
Nicely played by Vanadu Hasaranga. Last ball of the over, just a single. 130 for 6.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है. ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ.
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है. देखो हेल्प पे आ गई.
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना.
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
Life tastes better with Viva.
And just talking about slower balls and learning, and I remember watching a slow motion of your slow ball. I was just sitting in my hotel room. It came up on the TV screen in slow motion, and that's when it stuck in my head. And I tried to learn it for a very, very long time to get it as good as yours, but could never quite get there.
You had a good career. The time, Ravi, you're still going strong. You only learn in this game. You're never done learning. Alex Hardy into the attack. First four was fantastic. He found movement, bounce. And here comes an Australia, correctly so, is looking for wickets. They understand one more wicket from here. It's Mahesh Deekshana, Sean Marling and Asita Fernando deep into the tail. Like this proactiveness by Steve Smith. The impressive part about his captaincy right throughout this tour, how he has handled his bowlers and always looking for wickets.
Bit of misfield in there. Gets one, brings Sri Lanka onto strike. He's on 49 off 69. And just talking about players playing together from all over the world. They all know each other now, and Australians have played in the same team as some of the Sri Lankans, and everybody knows each other. One of the things that's gone out of the game is actually sledging. I mean, now everybody is friends, and that part of the game is sort of...
Bet on 49. Anandasan clearly says no. Charita Sri Lanka has played a wonderful knock, a captain's knock, a patient knock so far. Just on the too much friendliness, even I find it, Ravi. I think so much cricket being played around the world, especially with franchise cricket. There's hardly anyone having that bit of a sledge aggression in the middle. Not seen it for a while.
It's gone out the game a little bit. I mean, there's two men in this commentary box that weren't very nice to me when I played against them. Russell Arnold, I remember.
And Charita Sri Lanka brings up his half century in 71 deliveries. And his career is a 1550 and 4th at the R. Premadasa Stadium. Well done, captain.
Fantastic innings there from Sri Lanka. Captain stepping in when they needed him. Continuing his one-day form. And it's been such a controlled innings. On a difficult pitch, it's been tough for the batsman. There's been a little bit of two-pace, there's been some turn, although the Australian spinners haven't quite got it right. But he's been brilliant.
All Sri Lankans will be hoping that Charita Sri Lanka can convert this to a triple figure. 3 centuries in his career so far. Can he make it 4 today?
Yeah, but his work is not done yet. I think Sri Lanka are going to need probably another 100 runs from here. Just bringing up his 50 with another late cut there. It's a big shot for him. He plays very late. Captain's knock.
A sigh of relief, and he knows job is not done yet. Better length by Hardy, bringing the batsman to the front foot. 133 for 6.
मजा आ गया, यही गड्डी लेनी है।
और इंश्योरेंस कहाँ से लेना है?
What a question. शोरूम से।
और कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है सर। कोई जबरदस्ती है क्या?
कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है। डायरेक्ट एक्ो से लो और 36,000 तक बचे।
The unspoken language of loving surprises.
Habit forming or financially risky. Play responsibly.
Captain Charita Sri Lanka is on 1571 deliveries. He came into the crease, Sri Lanka in trouble, weathered the initial storm. He made sure that he played the counter-attacking game whenever the opportunity was given to him. Very nice, good form in the domestic setup, into international cricket, well in control. He had everything. A slip in place for Nathan Ellis to Vanidu Hasaranga. Oh, bowling! No feet movement. And Nathan Ellis gets rewarded with his first wicket for his good bowling this morning.
And I was wondering when the seamers were going to come back into the attack. Especially with Hasaranga at the crease, who's very, very comfortable against spin. Excellent player against spin, but just backing away a little bit there to the seamer, not quite moving his feet. And it's been a theme for the Sri Lankan batsman, not getting out to the ball, getting close to the ball. That's the important thing when you're playing on pitches. Just doing a bit, you need to get as close to the ball as possible. Wanindu Hasaranga goes for 7 on 14 balls, 133 for 7.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ।
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है। देखो हेल्प भी आ गई।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
खाना पकाना या बर्तन धोना, दोनों क्यों नहीं? स्कॉच ब्राइट स्क्रब स्पॉन्ज में है 3M स्टेन कटर टेक्नोलॉजी। बेहतरीन झाग, जिद्दी और चिकनी दाग के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज जो दे मजबूत पकड़। अब पकाओ मजेदार, जब स्कॉच ब्राइट से मिले सफाई असरदार।
मजा आ गया, यही गड्डी लेनी है।
और इंश्योरेंस कहाँ से लेना है?
What a question. शोरूम से।
और कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है सर। कोई जबरदस्ती है क्या?
कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है। डायरेक्ट एक्ो से लो और 36,000 तक बचे।
Learning from those with experience. LinkedIn knows how. LinkedIn.
कुछ खबर है तुम्हारी गाड़ी कहाँ है, कहाँ रिपेयर हो रही है?
गैराज में विंडशील्ड फिक्स हो गई, फाइनल चेकअप डन, कार इज हियर।
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना।
ला राजा अब हाय देखो मैसेज कहा था कि वीडियो लाइक करा 500 रुपया रोज कमावा। बस पहले तनी पैसा दे के लल चाहिए, फिर बोलिए कि और कमाए के बाद पैसा भरा। हम दिन भर चूना लगाईला, आई लोग हमरे के चूना लगावल चाहता। पान वाला है, मूर्ख ना है। याद रखें, यूपीआई कहेला कि यदि केहू आसान कमाई के लालच देवे तो कहीं हम मूर्ख ना हैं।
मजा आ गया, यही गड्डी लेनी है।
और इंश्योरेंस कहाँ से लेना है?
What a question. शोरूम से।
और कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है सर। कुछ जबरदस्ती है क्या?
कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है, डायरेक्ट एको से लो और 36
इतनी मेहनत के बाद खाना अच्छा होना तो बनता है। मेहनत का फल वीबा होता है। Life tastes better with Viva.
Madison Collection, nestled along the pristine shores of Gaul Beach, Madison Collection Resort Gaul blends modern sophistication with a vibrant South Beach coastal charm. The hotel introduces a vibrant social scene poised to become the city's most sought-after dining destination. Welcome to the exceptional.
Makes me want to take a holiday there.
Did that couple of weeks there, Ravi? We were not disappointed. Batting card for Sri Lanka, Charita Salanka, the lone battler. Batting well, 50 on 71. Good resistance for Vellarage with 30. But other than that, not much to speak. With the Sri Lankans build-up blown away with some fantastic bowling attack. The last wicket of Wanidhu Hasaranga, no feet movement, playing from the crease and lost his off stump. And Nathan Ellis, the first 5 overs he has bowled, he definitely deserved a wicket, and he got one in Wanidhu Hasaranga. It's been a real struggle for the Sri Lankan batsmen, especially against the pace. They looked pretty comfortable against the spin, but the paces have really troubled the Sri Lankan batsmen. They haven't quite got out to the delivery. Tikshana now at the crease. Shot! Oh, what a shot! What a start by Tikshana. He deserved some runs over there. It's good feet movement. And tell you what, Ravi, Tikshana is not a player you can easily bundle out. He will value his wicket. And this is a good start. Well, that's good, because that's what Sri Lanka needs at the other end. And it's a tricky situation for Sri Lanka. I mean, does he go and try to take on the bowlers and try getting Sri Lanka up to around 180 and 190, which gives him something to bowl at? I can promise you one thing, Ravi. The soldier's blood in my station is a fighter. He will value his wicket, and it's not an easy roller. Worked hard on his batting. He puts a lot of pride into it. And he's the ideal partner what Charita Salanka can look into at the moment with 133 for 7 to hang around. Well, if Sri Lanka can trust him, and he will know him best, and thinks that Tikshana can sort of bat 10 overs here at one end at least, then Sri Lanka can do the bulk of the scoring. Serves the Sri Lankan army. My station recently tied the knot, got married. And I did ask him a question this morning. He's looking, wait, dignitaries over here, CEO Ashdisil on the far left, Secretary Krishanta Kapuwat in the middle, and Dr. Jayanta Dharmadasa, the Vice President of Sri Lanka Cricket, having a closer look at the proceedings. My station this morning, did ask him a question, lost quite a few kilos, and he said his wife has put him on a diet. It's usually the opposite. Most guys put on weight once they get married. Nicely bowled and nicely played as well by Tikshana. He's off the mark. A single towards the third man. Well, she's a good wife. She clearly wants him to have a long career. I mean, he doesn't need to be super fit bowling spin, does he?
And quite a few years ago, when I used to play first-class cricket, where my station first entered the scene, he was triple the size. And now he has worked really hard to make sure that he lost weight. The chairman of IOC Servo, Mr. Das, in the proceedings as well. Just the one run from that over. 134 for 7.
यहाँ एक्सीडेंट हो गया और इनका फोटो सेशन चल रहा है. ये नहीं कि पहले हेल्प मंगाओ.
क्लेम प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया है. देखो हेल्प पे आ गई.
कार इंश्योरेंस हो लेना तो एको चेक कर लेना.